Reggie, are you ready for the digital event?
Nintendo 62, Nintendo 63, Nintendo 64. My puppet body is ready.
So Nintendo is making a lot of headlines this E3, but not for the reasons they would like. Word on the internet is their conference pretty much sucked. Since people on the internet can sometimes overreact a little bit, I decided to break down the presentation to see if it was really that bad. Let's start with the first game they showed, Star Fox Zero. With the next major Legend of Zelda game being pushed into 2016, Star Fox Zero kinda has to pick up the ball as Nintendo's major release for holiday 2015, so there's a lot of pressure riding on this game. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Star Fox series, minus Adventures, and I was actually really excited to see what a next-gen Star Fox game would look like. And during the digital presentation, I was honestly pretty underwhelmed. Not that the game looks bad, it just didn't blow me away like I was expecting. Visually, if you would have taken some of those shots and told me this was Star Fox 64 HD on Wii U, I would have probably believed you. Graphically, it just didn't wow me like a lot of other Nintendo titles have. Going along with that, I felt the new control scheme of using the gamepad to aim and the gyro controls wasn't very interesting either. I mean, I know Nintendo likes to innovate on their games, but I just can't get excited about looking around with the gamepad for a cockpit simulation when there are all these VR games coming out that really simulate being in a cockpit. I'm sure others will disagree with me here, but this experience is being done way better in other games, and in general, I'm just not a fan of these gimmicks on Wii U that want you to focus on the gamepad rather than the TV. Now, these were my initial reactions during the digital event. After I saw more of the game during the Treehouse Live event afterwards, I really started to come around more. The gameplay definitely seems fun, and the game looked way better when I saw it running at 60 frames a second. And I am really glad that they decided to stick with the traditional, more arcadey Star Fox experience, as I'm sure there was a lot of pressure to, quote, modernize the gameplay, but the classic style is exactly what I was looking for. Also during the Treehouse event, they said you don't have to use the gamepad to aim, instead you can do it on the TV, which gave me a huge sigh of relief. Overall, Star Fox Zero does look like it's going to be an awesome game, and it was definitely the highlight of this event. Unfortunately, the downhill slope that came afterwards was a steep one. Zelda actually had a presence at the show, just not the game we wanted, which was a trend of this presentation. We knew the Hyrule Warriors 3DS game was coming for a while now, but they also showed Triforce Heroes, which is a 3-player co-op focused Zelda title on 3DS done in the style of A Link Between Worlds. Personally, I usually don't really like the multiplayer Zelda titles, but if this still feels like a traditional Zelda game just with some co-op options, it could be really fun. My main concern is that the co-op focus might damper the experience for those who like going in solo. And oh, how about that Metroid reveal? Yeah, finally, after years, we got the next entry in the Metroid series. Nintendo fans have been waiting for the next big entry in the Metroid series since before Other M, because, let's be honest, the Other M wasn't that great. And this is what we're getting. Don't get me wrong, the game doesn't look bad on its own, but trying to pass this off as a Metroid title truly feels like a slap in the face to the fans of the series. And even more disappointing, it looks like Metroid fans are going to be waiting for the NX to get their next big game. Continuing on, Animal Crossing is coming to the Wii U, alright. But it's a board game. And bored is right because that game looked boring as hell. Then there were two games I'm actually really excited for, Fire Emblem Fates and what is now called Fire Emblem Shin Megami Tensei. While both games were represented, there was almost no new info given. The trailers they showed seemed almost identical to what we've already seen, just with a few added sequences. Also, both games still only have the broad release date of 2016. Xenoblade Chronicles X is the one game that I think delivered exactly what the fans wanted. Luckily, it wasn't much. We've seen the game, we know the story, all we wanted was the release date, and we got it. December 2nd is later than I had hoped, but at least this game is still coming in 2015. Yoshi's Woolly World got an extended look, but again, we've seen this game several times. And to be clear, I'm not saying we need more info on a game like Woolly World. I mean, personally, I've seen the game several times, I know I'm going to buy it. But giving so much time to a title we've seen on several occasions just feels like Nintendo was padding their time for this presentation. Now, there were some pretty cool reveals, but most of them were on the 3DS. Yokai Watch has been rumored to be brought over to the West for a while now, but it was cool to finally see it confirmed. And Mario Luigi Paper Jam looked like another fun RPG as well. Then there was the surprise announcement of Mario Tennis. Again, I think this game looks cool, and I'm a fan of past Mario Tennis games. But this was essentially the big surprise Wii U announcement. I mean, think about it, every other Wii U game that was good on this presentation, we had either seen it several times, or in Star Fox's case, we knew it was coming. That means Mario Tennis was the big surprise reveal for the show. The final game shown was Mario Maker, which looks awesome, but still, we've known about it, and it's already had its major showcase at the World Championships on Sunday. At the end, like many of you, I sat through that whole idiotic "Let's Super Mario" video, knowing this couldn't be the end. There had to be something coming to close out the show and blow us away. But it never did. So yeah, there were some awesome games shown at Nintendo's E3 digital event, but it was almost all stuff we had seen multiple times. E3 should be the showcase of big, new announcements. We got entries in franchises the people have been clamoring for, but they weren't actually the games we wanted. And overall, there was just too much focus on the 3DS. The main problem here is that Nintendo haters have been claiming the Wii U is dead almost since its inception, but it almost felt true here, as this presentation felt like Nintendo is ready to phase it out. I mean, E3 should be the showcase on what you're bringing to your console to support it in the future. And, I mean, is there just nothing in the works for the Wii U that we don't already know about? Nintendo teased that we'd learn more about their next console, the NX, in 2016. And it seems like that may be where they're focusing all their new efforts. So if you couldn't guess, I am totally on the side of those who were disappointed in Nintendo showing at E3 this year. I think the Wii U looked incredibly weak, and there is no way, I don't care how big of a fanboy you are, you cannot argue that Nintendo is even in the running to win this year's E3. They came in dead last, easily. If there is anything that Nintendo can benefit from coming out of this year's E3, it's that hopefully they'll learn from their mistakes. Well, that's a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel now, and you can say you were a subscriber before it was cool. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.